banned Fiora, which is the strongest laning matchup into it. I don't think we're going to see a Riven top. Sorry, a Vayne top from Sword, but he's practicing Riven.
Yeah.
Of all players, you would not think of Sword as a Riven player. He has been practicing it, and there's a lot of overlap between Aatrox and Riven. What's the choice here? You could try to take Sion and just go for the most picked here and grin and bear it, and you do have Kai'Sa to profit from that. But I'm so interested to see Sword's approach.
Wow.
And actually, he goes for an oldie, but not necessarily considered a goodie on patch 9.4.
Remember the last time we saw Griffin? Exactly. It was a patch ago, so maybe.
Wow. Start a fight, both in terms of scaling and also in terms of just winning a 3v3 or a 4v4. But the reality is, Tarzan's going to be on farming duty for a long time. The Kai'Sa's taken press the attack to fight back, so we might see some aggressive trading, and even in the jungle.
Yeah, speaking of which, Tarzan's going to get his Umbral dash is enough to get through the wall as Clid gets the kick. Flash, Chovy, Resonating Strike is in there, picks up a flash though, and gets himself out.
That is insane burst that if you don't remember the keystone, if you don't pay attention to it, might catch you out as any member of SKT.
Yeah, exactly right. Will actually give a huge power spike like you say, so it should be able to lane much more effectively. At the moment, we're not going to be able to check that one as Sword could be in potential trouble as Khan's going to dash on forward, but doesn't get the sweet spot knocker.
Tarzan actually doesn't know this has stayed leashed on the top side. It's of course a possibility, but the leash range is so long for Rift Herald, and this should be another objective. Happily leashed by Griffin and accepted gleefully by SKT.
Yeah, Clid's going to be able to aware of SKT being strong. It's early. Not necessarily Griffin's MO, as they're going to start right now. Aatrox does have the World Ender, but Sword is going to put him in the grinder. That position is not where you want to be. He does use the flash to try and get out of the way, and that's just not quite long enough on the corrosive charge, and Khan gets away.
And you love the prize fight feel we have in Lol Park. Even Rift Herald's being claimed being cheered by the SKT fans. Very, very strong first 15 minutes of the game, but a very, very strong 15 minutes of the game against Griffin means you're not in a disadvantage, means you're in a decent spot. Griffin don't get blown up in the early game. They just have been second best, so SKT rewarded for their start, but the items starting to finally come together. Infinity Edge is done for Viper, which is a relevant power spike. They're onto the Mountain Drake here. Will we see our first contest? Urgot lies in wait.
Yeah, SKT definitely want to get this double stack of Mountain Drakes. They are going to pick up the aggro. It is going to be Teleport coming in, answered immediately. It's an earlier one for Griffin, who want to get this team fight working. It's a fantastic stopwatch in the backline. Teddy dives into the back of the pit, but has to immediately exit. Somehow Clid, he's going to stay alive, and it's going to be Braum that picks up the first blood. But Griffin are still fighting. Khan has the World Ender, and he's going to be okay. Faker limps away from this fight, but he's on the wrong side of the map, and that's going to be the W landing from Viper. Doesn't have the ultimate, remember, so can't actually follow. That's going to be just Marta picking up a kill, and SKT still hungry. He's managed to fit this stopwatch into his build a little bit earlier. Just threw down his control ward there as well. Looks like he's going to be going for the double seal as Faker predicts Chovy, but that's the flashing from Lehens. There's a distortion though. Faker is going to be absolutely fine, and I love that play from the
SKT's big win in the early game. Her announcements have taken away and curbed her strength in this game. So right now, because she's so far behind in terms of front pace, it is struggling. People like Khan can walk up and get free damage.
Yeah, it's a great knock-up, but a good spell shield there from Tarzan gets him out of the way. Viper does want to be aggressive as Sword's looking for the flanking play, but Lehens almost just dies from one round from Faker and Sword. He has to back away. This is Infernal Drake to SKT, guaranteed, and they're not going to lose anything.
And this is what happens when you have map control. Everything goes right, and you can contest else from Griffin. We don't think they have an insanely massive scaling advantage, and they pull the trigger.
Oh, Paranoia is coming in. Sword gets into a great position, but the flash gets Faker out of the way. Distortion even further as now the Trouble Bubble lands onto Khan. The re-engage though from SKT is Sword. Very, very low. Stopwatch keeps him alive. Spirit's Refuge from Lehens as he's buying so much time in the back line. The flash forward, Marta doesn't get it as the Perch Shield comes up for Sword. Now Khan with his stopwatch gets himself out of this fight, and there are no kills just yet. This is just ridiculous. Just Lehens falling.
Chovy chasing.
As Chovy, looking for it. Faker's going to stay alive. Guardian Shield is going to help even more as the Guardian Angel is going to be in there. And now Sword looking for the backline. Where is he going though as Khan? He's over the wall. He's backing, and now Chovy might be in trouble. Oh my goodness, Teddy grabs it with the explosive charge, and now Khan cancels his back. Clid gets on in there, Infernal Chains, gets the pullback, and the Grinder could be going down. 4 kills looking to be on the line now for SKT.
They're able to pick up 3 kills in a single fight, SKT.
We're already into a fight. Klid's going to get taken down here by Viper as Griffin are looking to turn this game around. That's a great trouble bubble landing on Amada, but he stands behind Teddy as they're going to try and go back for this one. Khan does find Tarzan on the back end, but the fear is going to tether. Amada goes into his stopwatch, but remember, it's a 4v5. Guardian Angel does go down as now Khan dives into the front line. Faker can't find his way in. Griffin lose some health bars, but otherwise, it's a positive trade.
It's a meanwhile's act, it turns out. In
Absolutely.
This one. We're going to go back to how this might happen. So the Baron is something that happened off screen, and this is just loading in there. So it's a kill against Baron, still obviously big advantage, SKT. But we know Griffin will pull the trigger. They don't need introductions. They don't care about Baron buffs. They get a single day. So hard to have any threat onto this high damage Tristana. Meanwhile, the job for Viper is so much more of evaluating every cooldown and choosing your moment.
Well, Tarzan is in flank position. Can't quite get to this fight, but they are going to break open the base. SKT, it took them a while. They don't even have the Baron buff yet, but they do break open the top side.
Yeah, one
Griffin
chance is Griffin. Oh, this game is over, Atlas.
Exactly right. Tarzan hasn't pressed the R button yet. Chovy hasn't landed the bubble that he wants, and Sword is basically out of this fight. Griffin needed to start something, but then their top laner lost all of his health bar.
Exactly. Things just not coming together here. Teddy will take a bit of poke, but not going to be relevant. SKT choose when to push up and when to back away. That's something to remember. Griffin do not choose anything, because they've never been able to get a vision lead.
And you also almost need to have a control ward in that pit as well, because the Baron's going to go down extraordinarily fast. Double Mountain Drake and Infernal and a Tristana.
Yep.
Yeah, that purple worm is not going to last very long on this map, so they need to have almost permanent vision in there. Klid's going to be standing on this ward here for Griffin as he does sidestep. Chovy's not landing the bubbles that he needs to, and speaking of which, Sword's going to take so much damage. Garbo Stoneplate, is it going to be enough to actually keep him alive? As here's the re-engage. Tarzan dives into the backline, but Teddy is going to be able to kite him out. Sword is out of this fight, he's got no health, and the kickback just for the disengage. The grinder is going to come in, but there's a GA, and now Griffin do regroup. They do get themselves together. As that taunt onto Khan was exceptional, and now Teddy gonna get knocked up. Lahan's destroyed in the backline, and it's actually Teddy that throws the auto attack. Now Chovy taking damage, and the Tristana with 2 kills in this fight should be able to help destroy the Griffin base.
2 teams fighting at such a high level in the team fights, both of them understanding when they can go in and when they have to respect. Teddy able to re-engage. They're going to get 2 inhibitors out of this. I don't know if Griffin can mount a defense, and Braum in the front should make it guaranteed.
This matchup, absolutely amazing stuff for SKT. It's a blind Baron start. Griffin have no idea. Void Seeker not even going to get there, and the purple worm is going to belong to SKT, much like we assumed.
Ends up being pretty even, more than Griffin deserved. Now we're on Elder. Can they pull a rabbit out of a hat?
Yeah, it looks like they're going for this 50-50. Sword's going to come in with the smite. Paranoia does come down. Who's going to get it? It is going to be the Urgot, as now SKT have to fight with this disadvantage, but they still want it. It's still so much damage as Tarzan is torn apart. He still doesn't have his GA back up again, and SKT are going to have the man advantage. Good stun is going to come down. Stand United, not enough as Chovy is eradicated on the back end, and now Lahan's, he's relegated to just trying to buy time for Griffin. Another double kill for Teddy.
It's an emergency Elder Dragon just because they know with no map control, no inhibitors, they're going to lose it anyway. Unfortunately, that means SKT just take the fight. They make the right decision. They stand up to the Elder Drake, and they might just end the game right now.
Yeah, they're looking to. They will break open the base in all 3 lanes first, as this minion wave is going to conga line forward. Void Seeker often has to be respected, but not this time. It's 40 minutes. It's a level 18 Tristana. Only a few auto attacks, and these Nexus turrets are going to be history, and SKT may have made history now against Griffin. The second map that this team has ever taken from the Young Guns, and the Nexus will go down. SK Telecom are victorious.